What's going on, guys? Today we got another deck profile. This time it's of Rescue Ace, Diabellstar, or Rescue Ace, Sinful Spoils, whatever you want to call it. This is the best deck in the format now. Obviously, it's just ridiculous what this deck can do and what it can play through. I don't think this is a perfect build quite yet, but it's pretty close. I had a lot of success online with it. It still struggles against like some of the lower tier like road decks, but like uh, once you start looping things like SP, Little Knight, and like all your traps over again, it's really hard to out. So yeah, we're gonna go and get into it. It's 42 cards in the main. It's pretty hard to cut this to 40 as well. To start, there's 3 lifter. The only 3 of now in the deck for the Rescue Ace monsters. He's the best one. He's full combo by himself. 2 hydrant. This is pretty like back and forth with a lot of people. I think both of the YCS like finalists were playing 2, if I remember correctly. I think 2 is correct because like if you're not playing the Heat Soul package, this doesn't really accomplish much by itself. So yeah, we're on 2 of it. You don't want to really draw it. Like drawing 1 is fine, but drawing multiples is terrible. So you want to reduce the amount that you do that. And that's the same thing with like Turbulence and Preventer, even though they're like crazy strong cards. Turbulence is just literally a custom card. The fact that it has removal built into it and it's like sets 4 cards is ridiculous. The 1 fire engine, I'm not playing the fire attacker, the helicopter still. My 1 copy I own got ripped in half because I hate that card. And then 1 impulse. This is another like point of contention with a lot of people. Like, do you play 3? Do you play 1? Do you play 0? I think 1's correct. There's a build that I wanted to try around that is using an Assault package, which I'll pull up here real quick. Like that, you'll be able to search the impulse off of Assault, and then you'll have it as a hand trap for your opponent's turn. But that's like a completely different version. Like this is just like a very standardized build that is going to be consistently doing what it wants to do, and like sacrifice a bit of power to do it. But it's the consistency is worth it. That's it for the rescue monsters. For the rescue spells and traps, we got the 3 emergency. Card's crazy, another custom card that got released for this deck. Rhoda for the airlifter. Honestly, like if airlifter is a 1 card, like wasn't a 1 card combo, we probably wouldn't play this. But like just how powerful he is by himself. He's pretty susceptible to interaction, but where the format is like slowing down a bit and like targeted interaction is getting a lot worse, this gets a lot better. So I think it's worth still playing. I'm not playing 1 for 1, mainly because I'm not playing Fenrir, and that was like the best way to facilitate the 1 for 1 discard. 1 HQ, rescue, alert, contain, and extinguish. I also wanted to try reinforce, and I have a build online that I'm testing with it again because like we're going to Richmond, so I have to do a lot of testing. And reinforce is like really strong with Typhon, or Typhoon, but it just contributes to more bricks. Like you're already playing so many bricks just like naturally with the deck, like all these like big goons in the deck that it's just so hard to unclog your hand sometimes. I didn't want to add another contributor to that. For the new cards, the Sinful Spoil package, we got the 1 Diabellstar, the 3 Wanteds, and the 1 original Sinful Spoil. So I know a lot of people nowadays are talking about maximizing this engine right here by playing 3-3. I don't want to open multiples of this. Like even though like just opening these 2 is pretty rough sometimes. Like you can obviously add it back, but like most of the time you're just gonna send this anyway for her. So like I just wanted to minimize brick and like maximize consistency as much as I could. However, I don't think it's incorrect to play 3 or 2. Like that's the crazy part of how powerful this engine is. Like I don't think there is an incorrect way to play it. So that's that engine. This is ridiculous. Don't know why they made it so generic. 3 prosperities, just to have again more consistency. Your extra deck is a lot tighter now, but you can usually get away with the first 6, or like if your hand's like mid, then you can just get away with 3. So I'm playing Called By for protection, but I don't see a lot of people doing this as instant fusion. Like you're already going out of your way to make Proxy F, to make Mud Dragon, to make protection, or make Dweller. So I wanted this in the deck as my 42nd card. Like this is technically 41, 42, because this get you Mud Dragon or Millennium Eyes, which I'm playing, to like have multiple angles of like protection for your deck. But you can also make Dweller a lot easier with this card. And in some matchups, you just need to make Dweller, obviously. So having the ability just to get it out for free is really nice, and not have to like go into proxy F. It also like frees up the restriction on Prosperity, where like you have more cards in your extra deck to banish, which is really nice. And then the non-engine slots I'm playing other than those two, 3 Ash. I kind of want to switch it out for something like Talents, Thrust, something like that, because I am kind of like playing a more board breaker build of it. You don't really need to stop a bunch of monster effects, or you don't really need to play a whole lot of hand traps in this deck, because your deck can fight pretty hard going into a board. But like if you have these 9, it is so much easier, especially like Econ. Like Econ's just absolutely brutal in the mirror. Super Poly is also ridiculously good in the mirror, because you can like Super Poly their Preventer and their Hydrant, and then you just get the advantage of having like them turning off their own traps. Imperm is Imperm, and like Ash is really good for like the more mid decks. It's a very good like just catch all. But I do kind of want to just swap it out for a more board breaker esque card to like really complement these and help push. And like hand traps are always really weird in this deck with the Rescue Ace, or not Rescue Ace, with the Diabella Star engine now, because you feel a lot better pitching a board breaker going first than you would like a hand trap, because these have much less impact going first. But like every hand trap matters, because you made your deck a little bit weaker by not playing the board breaker. So like it felt worse discarding them off of this stuff. Now that's probably just not like 100% correct, but like that's just how it felt from like my testing with it. I'm like 20 or 30 matches into the deck, and I've just definitely decided that I think the board breaker engine is like much better than playing the multiple hand traps and stuff like that. For the extra deck, I got Rise Heart Token. You know, he's always with me. He can't leave me now, even in death. Link Karibo and Anima. These are the 2 best Link ones for the deck. Some people don't respect the zone still, obviously, but it's also these are the only 2 that you can use with just a summoned Hydrant by any means, like through emergency or normal. Almirage would be good if I was still playing the Sunlight Wolf and Heat Soul package, but I'm not, so that's why these are here. Dark and Hida. Dark's insane right now with SP Little Knight running around everywhere. Like you could steal your opponent's Little Knights, you could steal their Bystials for your side deck patterns and stuff like that. Hida, everybody's playing Ash. Mirror match. Hida is actually just like not fair in the mirror. You take their Turbulence and set your own 4 and then link it off. Proxy F or Mud Dragon. We are still playing it just because, you know, Institution's a 1 of in the deck. So you do sometimes just need to make it. The 1 IP. This card, it feels really lackluster a lot of the times. Like, it's very good to make, like, your copies of SP, which I'm on 2 at the moment. It does really matter where, like, you can tag out and, like, treat this as a new Nightmare monster, but since it's so telegraphed in the way that the game has like progressed into like playing more things like, you know, Econs again, or like Imperms, like she got a lot weaker. I'd rather just summon the Little Knight, because at least she can dodge stuff. So for the Xyz, we're on the Abyss Dweller. Dweller's crazy strong to a lot of the meta decks right now, like, you know, Unchained, Tier, Vanadium. They all have issues dealing with this card. Vanadium less so, but turning off the Meeks and the Torts is really good. Typhon, this card is crazy. Like, this card is nuts. Especially in a deck like an Econ style deck, you know, or a Talent style deck. That's another reason I wanted to play Talents, is these 2 cards, because you can steal their stuff and just like put these all on top of it. Like, there are situations where you can even just like go into Zeus, wipe their board, and then put Typhon on top of Zeus, and that's just like pretty lights out against a lot of decks. The crazy board stuff that you can do against tiers, like you summon Dweller and then use Dweller effect and battle attack, and then you make Zeus on top of that, send their whole board, and they literally have nothing for follow up. So Zeus was fantastic, and then the 2 instant fusion targets. Lenny Eyes is really strong. A lot of Ashes, a lot of Veilers going around right now. You can also deal with things like negates on the board, like your opponent does something and you can like take their other Omni negate. And then the only two super poly targets at the moment, Garua and Predator Plant. I think for the YCS, this is going to become either a Draco Quest or a Starving Venom, just because they're. If I'm really afraid of Manadium, then it's going to be Draco Quest, because then that's like highly targeted for them, and I can like wipe their board, make a Baron with my own Draco Quest basically, and then it's like a 4 for 2 at that point. And then Garua is just like the next most generic one. Garua is also really sweet with the Diabell Star stuff, because like if you summon this, then you can send it for the Witch, and then you get a draw, so you can get like up to 3 draws in a single turn, which is really crazy. Obviously, if you're not under Prosperity, but. And then for the side, like I've said in my Salamangreat and other Rescue Ace profile, the formats is just so wide right now that you have to just play the highest density of like most impactful cards. So 3 Droll, 3 Nib to start with that. These are like the combo player nightmares. You're already maining Ash and stuff like that, so like you have easy cuts with the Econ, because like even though it's a board breaker, it's much harder to resolve, and like going second, you really just need to draw these cards. For Tier and Unchained, there's the 3 Bestials. The way that this deck functions, you don't really need to worry about like the extra Bestial you can get off Magnamut. So what I mean by that is like if you playing 2 of these, you have a more chance of seeing this one first. So like you can use Druis Worm and then get rid of it, and then like you'll eventually see Magnamut, and Magnamut can pick up this. So now you still have the first 2 and this one in the deck, but you have a new Sarnier again, or not Sarnier, Druis Worm. So you have 4. I think the Unchained matchup honestly isn't terrible anymore, so that's why we're doing the Magnamut, just for better pressure. 3 Cosmic, debating on putting like evenly or 2 Lightning Storm and Duster. It depends on if Thrust makes the cut or not, and just like because then it would be easier to search and better to play. And then the last card I'm playing for the side is a little bit of a spicier one. I saw that the guy at the YCS was playing it, but I've been pretty high on this card for a while, and it's 3 copies of Spellbound. With the format being as wide as it is, like Droplet isn't always very good, even though you can reasonably pitch a bunch of cards to it. Being able to turn off all the monsters on the field is really important, because it doesn't like remove the fact that they're tuners, for example, for Manadium, or it doesn't remove the fact that they're 2 level 3s or 2 level 6s in that matter. But like sometimes just letting their effects go and then using Spellbound to like turn them off. That's one of the better parts of the Rescue Ace deck, is like it can do that already anyway with their traps. Like they can like turn off stuff for the whole turn, like Contain, just make it so they can't be used as material. So like adding more to that is really good, and it's not once per turn. So even if you draw multiples and you have to use it at an awkward time, if you drew 2, then you can really just add another like spot to it, and then their opponent really just has to stop. But it's also good against Flu on your turn, because like you can go second now and have this, and they try to combo, because you can out the first end pen pretty easily, and then the second one comes up, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to Spellbound. So Spellbound was really good. The other consideration was a card called Mistaken Arrest, but that's just highly targeted towards Flu and wasn't worth it. I wanted something that's more wide, and it's performed very well in testing so far. That's the deck, though. It's been a lot of fun playing it. Like you guys saw before, I got my invite with this deck, and I, of course, had to update the profile once I got all the cards in the mail for it. I will be at YCS Richmond, and this will be the deck I'm playing. Probably not this exact list, but I wanted to get one out just for content's sake. Remember to comment, rate, subscribe, and thanks for watching.